Somewhere between code and capital, Silicon Valley made a deal. And spoiler, it wasn't for world peace.
How much money will Apple be investing in the United States? How much is Google investing? What about Microsoft?
This is the story of how the people who built the future started worshipping the past. How a handful of billionaires who once said,
"Move fast and break things,"
decided democracy was the thing to break next. How Silicon Valley bought a president. It looked less like a political event and maybe more like a crypto launch party. Navy blazers, mezcal cocktails, and the faint smell of moral bankruptcy. Behind it was the Rockbridge Network, a dark money group co-founded by J.D. Vance and packed with Silicon Valley investors who once swore off politics. Wow, these guys didn't suddenly fall in love with Trump's speeches. Absolutely not. They fell in love with his promises to slash antitrust enforcement, gut privacy laws, and treat billionaires like an endangered species. As Politico put it, Rockbridge became the vehicle for the tech elite to fund Trump's second act. And it worked. Within months, Trump's campaign was flush with tech cash, a scene almost unthinkable just a few years before when Silicon Valley was the beating heart of Obama's donor base. It's as if the men who once promised to make the world better decided that the world wasn't enough. They wanted to own it. Tech bros in the West Wing. David Sachs, PayPal guy, co-host of All In podcast, has become one of Trump's most powerful allies. Once just a loud libertarian skeptic of big government, he was advising it. Scene of the crime, a libertarian. The Financial Times reported that Sachs was informally shaping Trump's positions on crypto and AI. It's like poetic, but in like a very twisted way. The man who helped build the platforms that destroyed trust in institutions was now rewriting the institutions themselves. Elon Musk, meanwhile, went from being a renewable energy poster boy to Trump's will they won't they political situationship, and also just a full-blown crazy person. He once promised to stay out of politics. Do you guys remember that? Better times. But instead, Musk used his platform X to boost Trump's campaign talking points, attack journalists, and signal to 180 million followers that regulation was the real enemy. And then, Doge. Jeff Bezos also shifted too. Jeff Bezos also shifted his vibe. In 2021, he donated $100 million to the Obama Foundation. Then, slowly but surely, he started publicly saying he's optimistic about Trump's deregulation plans. Translation of that for normal people speak is it's easier to ship Prime packages when no one is asking if your workers have had any bathroom breaks. Can you smell that again? It's the moral bankruptcy. And while Peter Thiel is clearly insane, if you've watched my videos for a while, you will know all about that. His proteges like, Vance, Sachs, and Blake Masters are now at the heart of what The Guardian calls the Silicon Right, a network where venture capital meets authoritarian chic. The class war with Wi-Fi. Here's a weird bit. Do you know what's weird? It's not the engineers going MAGA, it's just the freak-ass bosses. Data from Open Secrets shows that tech employees still overwhelmingly donate to Democrats. San Francisco went around 80% blue, Palo Alto 74%, Santa Clara 68%. But among executives and venture capitalists, the ship rightward is massive. So the boardroom went red while the break room stayed blue. Oh, I wonder where you'd find normal people in this building. I wonder where the normal people are. Trump's appeal wasn't ideological. God, no. Not at all. It was just transactional. He didn't promise to make Silicon Valley moral again. He promised to make it even richer, even more powerful. And for these grubby little angry nerd billionaires tired of any scrutiny, power is the ultimate luxury product. Deregulation nation. When Trump returned to the White House, Silicon Valley got exactly what it paid for. The Trump administration froze new FTC antitrust cases, paused AI safety audits, and gutted data privacy enforcement. Crypto companies saw prosecution drop nearly 40%. AI startups stopped reporting algorithmic bias entirely. A Washington Post report described a ghost army of Silicon Valley operatives inside the administration, advising on space tech, telecom, and AI without any public accountability. So you know how they were all talking about draining the swamp? It wasn't draining the swamp, it was franchising it. Regulations used to be the thing keeping democracy from turning into a frickin' casino, but now the house is owned by the people who built the slot machines. The billionaire identity crisis. The most exhausting part of all of this is the performance of victimhood. These guys always find something to have a little wah-wah about. Elon Musk yaps about censorship while banning journalists. Mark Andreessen warns about woke mobs from his $177 million mansion. Peter Thiel calls democracy overrated and gets invited onto Davos to explain why. They call themselves rebels, but they're just lonely kings cosplaying as revolutionaries. And there is something deeply ironic about watching the men who built the world's biggest surveillance platforms cry and wah and yak on about free speech. They aren't oppressed. They aren't even in trouble. They're just bored and miserable and like completely out of touch with reality. They've gone from fighting for innovation to just fighting for attention. The holdouts. Not everyone sold out. Reid Hoffman, who founded LinkedIn, and Dustin Moskovitz, Facebook's co-founder, they have both quietly poured millions into democracy defense projects, including Good Information Incorporated and voter access programs. So they're reminded that being rich doesn't have to mean being completely and utterly morally bankrupt, but honestly, they're probably up to their own dark, weird shit, but let's just take the wins, we can get them, okay? But you know, those guys, they are exceptions, not the rule. As one tech worker told Axios, you either sell a company or you sell your soul. Innovation or infiltration. So when billionaires start writing the laws, democracy becomes like an API and we're the product. The tech world likes to say innovation moves faster than government, but that isn't a compliment. It's a threat. Without regulation, power stops being innovative. It just becomes absolute. As The Atlantic put it, the new Silicon Valley doesn't want to build the future. It wants to own who gets to. Because the truth is, these men don't hate government. They hate a government they don't control. They think they're so much smarter and better than all of us that they should just be in charge. Cool. So what happens when the world's richest men decide that the rules don't apply to them? Well, you get this. If you made it this far, congrats, you survived the billionaire simulation. Or maybe not, I don't know. Hit subscribe because I'm here 5 days a week trying to get into how power actually moves, boardrooms, ballot boxes, freaky tech guys, billionaires. If you like this video, check out a big deep dive I did into Peter Thiel, weird freak, vampire, I hate that guy. Check it out though, he's got a weird bunker in New Zealand, freaks me out. He's technically a New Zealand citizen. Bye!